Okay. Would you recommend fantasy football to a normal football fan?
Yeah, I would. It's a must-do for any football fan. I get to compete in this something again, and even though it's not a big deal, it's just a stupid game. You get more excited because there's something at stake. So my friends and I always talk a lot of trash when we play each other, and it's just like there's a sense of competition that I haven't had. Well, I haven't had ever while playing ever since I stopped playing sports.
And do you feel like you're part of a community with other people who play?
I've actually met a couple of friends through fantasy football just by being in a league with a friend of mine and then friends of his. I became friends with some of those guys too. It's just something we all have in common and like to do, and we would watch the games together so that we could really play against each other and get more into the game and competitive.
All right. Thank you. Neil, when you first started playing fantasy football and getting into it, what were your reactions?
I mean, it was so shocking at first, to say the least. I never really understood the fuss about it. It seemed really silly because it's not real football. But now that I played, I totally get it. I love it. It's so much fun. It's just so simple. I feel like I'm part of a community now. It's kind of like being on a real team back in high school with the competition and the camaraderie, and it's so competitive. It's just, honestly, a conversation piece with my friends and my family. It's just so fun.
All right. So, Alex, what's your favorite part about fantasy football?
It makes football so much more interesting to watch. I'm in a league with my dad and his colleagues, which has an entry fee of $400 every season, so it's high stakes, to say the least. I don't really even care if my favorite team loses as long as my players do well. I would rather my fantasy team win than my hometown team win 10 times out of 10.
So, when did you start playing, and what got you into it? What hooked you about it?
Well, I started playing fantasy football around 6 years ago when I was 13 and have been playing in this big money league for just 2 years. I just love that it turned Sunday into an all-day competition and game instead of just watching my favorite team. I love yelling at the TV with my friends and arguing about whose team is really better.
Thanks, Alex.